I used with my mutant body. Believe me, he won't be lucky next time. Take a knife at least, said Matt, again. No, that's too barbaric. Besides, if I put up a good fight, and he sees how much I love Shirley, maybe he'll change his mind? Don't count on it, said Matt Jr. The next morning, Caleb came to the Brancos' door with an excited smile. He rubbed his hands together like a big fly and then kicked down the door instead of knocking. He then had Sheena make him breakfast and had Newton eat some of it to see if it was poisoned. As Shirley walked by, he would feel her and pat her rear. Why are you acting like this? Asked the bewildered Sheena. I'll tell you someday, he said excitedly. I'll tell you someday. Newton suddenly uncontrollably lunged at Caleb. Caleb leaped out of the way, pulled out a gun-like weapon, and said, "Ah! If I weren't feeling good now, I'd have you reported, evil one." And he patted Newton on his bald spot as he pointed his weapon at Sheena. After that, he had Shirley come with him into his car. Shirley looked worried as Caleb drove her away. "Get him, Newton! Get him! Get him, Newton!" shouted Sheena. "I will," shouted Newton, and he got onto his motorcycle and turned on his converted tracking device he made from his universal translator. He won't lay one lustful hand on her. And Newton zoomed off to save Shirley's virginity. In the car, Caleb would look into Shirley's eyes now and then and tell her how pretty she was. "Isn't fornication against our religion?" she asked frighteningly. "I don't have a religion," he said with a... I don't have a religion, he said with a monotone. "What do you mean?" she asked again. Caleb told her that he quit believing in God when God allowed him to kill his family. Shirley's eyes widened when Caleb told her that. "I became so obsessed with you that my wife and family became excruciatingly boring to me. So boring, in fact, that I wanted to kill myself if I had to live with them instead of you. And so I decided to test God to see if God was there or not by stopping me from going through with the death of my family." Caleb told Shirley that he fixed his family seatbelts in such a way that they wouldn't survive a head-on collision. And if they did, he'd believe in God and stick with his boring family and forget about her. Shirley couldn't believe how insane Caleb was. She was terror-stricken from what he told her. "You don't believe in God at all?" she asked with a lot of anxiety. Caleb happily told her that he didn't, and that he never really did, but was making her and her family try to believe that the God of morality existed so she wouldn't have sex and would remain a virgin so he could de-virginize her when she started to get old, ugly, and desperate. Making the Brancos believe it was the end times was really just a ploy to preserve your virginity, said Caleb in ecstasy as preserve your virginity, said Caleb in ecstasy as he felt her plump, curvy thigh. Shirley began to cry to realize that there was no Prince of Love who would soon descend from heaven and bring love, health, and rejuvenation into the world. Caleb snickered excitedly and said, There's no nothing. Just me. I control our destinies." Caleb then began telling Shirley how stupid, insane, and vain he thought she and her family was to want to do good for nothing with such short lives that they had. Hearing that caused Shirley to cry uncontrollably. Thoughts of committing suicide began to go through her mind. To To realize that there was nothing but her bleak, short, meaningless life made her feel totally helpless and worthless. Several hours later, Naleb and Shirley were traveling through a forested area in the mountains. The forest was thick with vegetation because it was so close to the sea. So thick was the semi-rainforest that it seemed dark because the trees blocked out the sunlight. The car bounced around on the dirt road due to not being used that much. Naleb almost crashed the car because he would watch the bouncing effect the car had on Shirley's body. Since no one was around, Newton realized the engine of his motorcycle would give him away. He decided to drop to 2 miles behind Naleb. Naleb then stopped his car near the top of a mountain so he could de-virginize Shirley during the sunset. Naleb had Shirley get out. They held hands and watched the sunset. Naleb then started kissing and feeling her. Although Shirley hated Naleb and wanted Newton to kill him, a part of her, for some bizarre reason, was sexually attracted to him. The lustfulness of Naleb started arousing her, and she found herself kissing back. Several minutes later, and she felt her big voluptuous body panting and wanting more than just to be petted and felt out. It wasn't long until she willingly stripped and revealed herself to him. "Please," she cried, "before I get much older, love me before it's too late." Naleb stripped and started feeling and kissing her more. "You poor, beautiful girl," said Naleb, noticing that Shirley was already starting to develop crow's feet around her eyes. Her tender, delicate mouth was also starting to look like a 30-year-old Earth girl's. But her body was firm and beautiful, as big as it was. Naleb caressed the little double chin she was uncontrollably losing out to, then kissed her on the lips. "No matter how old you get, you will always be attractive to me," he whispered in her ear. Shirley started shaking and panting. It wasn't long until they were rolling around on the ground. Right when Naleb was about to de-virginize the very willing Shirley, Newton charged out behind a tree and kicked Naleb in the face, knocking him off of her. Naleb staggered up and Newton kicked him in the area that was the cause of all his problems. Then Newton hit Naleb across the face, then kicked him across the jaw. "Daddy, please stop," shouted Shirley with her plump curves jiggling in all directions. Naleb was totally defenseless as Newton sent his furious fist into his face that sent Naleb staggering about on the grass. "Going to rape my daughter, huh? And I can't stop you, huh?" Newton jumped up, spun around, and kicked the glassy-eyed Naleb on the side of the face that sent him crashing unconscious over a fallen log. Newton picked up a boulder and lifted it up over his head. He was just about to throw it on Naleb's skull, but Shirley stopped him, saying that she would never forgive him if he killed him. "He loves me," she cried with tears pouring down onto her breasts. "Loves you?" laughed Newton. "My dear girl, if you were ugly, he wouldn't bother threatening us at all. All he likes is your looks." "Is that so bad?" Shirley said. She began telling Newton that she enjoyed being lusted after by the creep. Newton fell back shocked as Shirley went on and on, telling him that this was the only life for her, and that she wanted to enjoy herself before she got old, which was soon coming. "No, please, shut up," shouted Newton, depressed. Shirley got dressed and began telling Newton that she was going to be her own girl now, and do whatever she felt like, because she had a short time. When Naleb came to and got dressed, he listened to the father-daughter confrontation and said, You heard the girl. She's made up her mind now. She's her own girl, and she likes me. Come, Shirley, let's enjoy your body before it withers like a rose." Newton couldn't believe it as Naleb started getting fresh with Shirley right in front of his eyes. Shirley enjoyed it. She felt herself uncontrollably stripping for Naleb again, like Naleb had some supernatural power over her. Newton couldn't believe his eyes as Naleb pulled down her jeans, exposing her big round bottom to him. Shirley's breast started heaving up and down as she panted from the ecstasy of being desired. She giggled and said, "I'm sorry, Daddy, but this really feels good." Newton felt totally helpless. He didn't know how to respond. Naleb then squeezed her up against him and started kissing and feeling her. "I can't believe what's happening," said Newton, with his mouth open. "My little girl, losing her virginity to some creep, and right before my eyes." Newton felt like killing Naleb, yet he also felt responsible since he made movies of Shirley that showed him growing. He didn't know whether to kill Naleb or himself, but then he didn't know if he deserved this humiliation either. The whole scene seemed to be a beautiful nightmare. Naleb pulled down his pants and now had Shirley on the ground and waiting. "Shirley, he doesn't love you," said Newton weakly. "I know," she said, with heavy breaths. He's a vampire. He'll only give you sexual pleasure for a little while. But if he gets you pregnant or if you start aging more, he'll leave you." "He's beautiful and strong," she said. Right when Naleb was about to try to de-virginize Shirley again, it said, "The god of Sardana might not exist, but that doesn't mean the moral god of the universe doesn't." And Newton kicked Naleb in the side, knocking him off Shirley. Naleb ran over to his car, took out his gun, and pointed at Newton. "I wanted to have a beautiful evening with you, Shirley, but your old man is really cramping my style." Naleb put on his clothes and said, "Get out of here. Can't you see that your little girl wants me? I told you. I warned you not to interfere." "Are you going to report me to the authorities?" asked Newton. "I'm a man of my word, yes," said Naleb. "Do you still want to have sex with this monster?" asked Newton. Shirley started getting depressed. "Take those clothes off," shouted Naleb. "Don't order me around," said Shirley coldly. "Oh, thank God," shouted Newton. I have my little Shirley back." "You do what I say," shouted Naleb, kicking her in the bottom, making her cry and jiggle about. Shirley started crying. Newton said, "Go ahead and tell the authorities that I'm Newton. There is no way in hell you're going to use blackmail over me and my family." Shirley then said, "Newton, Naleb killed his family for me." You can never prove it, though," laughed Naleb. "And you wanted to have sex from this maniac?" shouted Newton. "Not anymore," said Shirley frightenedly. Naleb then ordered Shirley to strip, or he would shoot Newton's kneecap off. Shirley stripped. Naleb then started feeling and kissing her again. Newton went over to stop him, but suddenly Naleb shot Newton and hit and struck him in the thigh. "Daddy!" cried Shirley, as Newton fell in pain. Newton staggered about on the ground and said, "You're going to kill me, aren't you? You're going to kill me, aren't you?" "No, only if you try to stop me," snickered Naleb. A few minutes later, and Naleb was almost about to deposit his sperm in Shirley. Newton yelled with fury and flew at Naleb, using the pain in his leg to help fight the monster. Naleb quickly jumped up and pointed the gun at Newton. "I'm sorry, Newton, but I'm going to have to kill you." Right when Naleb was about to pull the trigger, Shirley pulled it away from him, causing him to miss. Naleb pushed her down and pointed it at Newton again. And Newton said, you have to use a gun to kill me, don't you? Did you know that I came up here with no weapon on me because I knew I could kill you in hand-to-hand combat? Even now, with this with this bullet in my leg, I believe I could still do it. Naleb started laughing. You, an old man, can take me on? You'd be dead now if Shirley didn't talk me out of it. You were laying unconscious over that log. You just took me by surprise is all. Last night I had you licking my rug, and you didn't even have a bullet in your leg. Newton had a desperate look in his eyes. He then said, you may be younger and stronger than me, but I'm a lot older than you in spirit. I have fought the demons and monsters a lot worse than you, and I have been fighting all my life. Fighting has been my life. And if you kill me, I'll come back. If I leave this body, my spirit will go back to my original body. I'll be trapped forever in ice, but if I'm ever let out, you'll see me again, and you can't destroy that body. But even still, I believe I can beat the tar out of you, even with a bullet in my leg. Is that so? Said Naleb snickered and put his gun in the car. He then locked up the car and threw the keys down the mountain. By now the sun's rays were almost down. There was a pretty sunset though. Okay, you balding little fart, let's see you try to kill me. Naleb faked like he was going to swing a punch at Newton's face, but instead gave Newton a swift kick to the wound he shot into Newton's leg. Newton cried out in pain, causing him to fall down. Daddy, cried Shirley. Newton got up slowly. Naleb daintily danced around Newton. He then kicked Newton in the leg again and bashed Newton in the jaw. Newton fell on his back with pain again. This is getting boring, said Naleb. I'm going to put you out of your misery. Naleb started walking down the hill to get the keys to his car. Suddenly, Newton picked up a rock and threw it. The baseball-sized rock hit Naleb right on the head, sending him staggering about in a daze. Before Naleb got his senses back, Newton tackled him to the ground. The two went rolling about, punching and tearing at each other. Naleb threw Newton off of him. Newton rolled up and got into a karate stance. Naleb furiously jumped up, spun around, and was going to kick Newton in the face, but Newton ducked and managed to kick out Naleb's legs, causing Naleb to crash down to the ground. Newton then jumped up and was about to come down on Naleb's chest, but Naleb rolled out of the way and managed to get up onto his feet. Newton stared at Naleb as the sweat from the bullet's pain got into his eyes. Almost, old man. Suddenly Naleb charged in, ducked and dodged Newton's punches, and started bashing Newton in the face with his might, snapping Newton's head back. Shirley started crying as Newton tried to defend himself, but was so weakened by the pain that his reflexes were slowed. I have fancy footwork too, laughed Naleb, and he started kicking Newton in the stomach and kicking Newton across the face. By now, blood was coming out of Newton's nose, mouth, and an ear. His nose was now totally flat. Newton tried to swing another punch at Naleb, but Naleb easily dodged again, then swung his elbow down and hit Newton's wound again. Newton cried out in pain again. Shirley started crying uncontrollably as Naleb started giving Newton quick 1-2s across the face, over and over again. Right when Newton was about to fall back unconscious, Naleb jumped up and kicked and delivered a side kick that sent Newton tumbling down the hill. Newton stopped rolling when he fell against a redwood tree. Naleb laughed and said, I think I've proved myself. Naleb walked down to Newton, yanked him up off the ground by his thinning hair, and slapped him, saying, I'm not going to kill you. He slapped Newton again, then said, just give me the movies you made of your daughter is all. Newton acted like he was unconscious. Naleb slapped Newton again and said, you understand, stupid? Newton slowly raised his arm as if he was gaining consciousness and thinking about Naleb's proposal. Newton then furiously swung his elbow about with his might and caved in Naleb's nose into his nasal cavity. Naleb fell back dazed. Newtin then grabbed Nayla by the arm, wrapped his other arm around his neck, and rammed Nayla's face into the hard tree trunk of the tree. There was a loud popping sound. Newtin then watched as Nayla fell onto his back unconscious with his face all bloody. Newtin jumped down on him, picked up a big rock that lay to the side of him, and was just about to crush Nayla's face, but for some reason, he couldn't. Do it, cried Shirley. Nayla came to and whispered, "No, don't." Newton sat there a few minutes, contemplating murder. "I can't do it," cried Newton. He then quickly staggered up the hill and got Shirley and himself on the motorcycle. They then quickly drove off through the dark, creepy forest that seemed to become more and more nightmarish as the evening came. A few hours later, Nayla tried to run Newton and Shirley off the road, but Nayla met his death when he went out of control and flipped his car. The creep died. This next story I'm about to read to you is called Hot Flashes. The tragedy of Nayla faded out slowly after the days, weeks, and months passed. No one knew about the fight Newton had with Nayla, and Nayla took Newton's secret with him to the grave. Nayla's house was empty several weeks until it was auctioned off to a young couple. Before it was auctioned off, though, Newton secretly entered it to thoroughly search for the information Nayla said he found on him, but he was unable to find evidence. Thinking that if he couldn't find the evidence, then the people who would move into the house next wouldn't be able to find it either. So Newton quit looking. As Newton sat in front of the boring black and white TV set, Sheena walked up to him and asked him, "Shirley told me today that if you were to die, you would find your spirit in your other body. Is that true?" Newton looked concerned and said, "I'm afraid so, Sheena. How can you tell?" "Well, sometimes when I'm sitting very quietly, getting really relaxed, I'll suddenly get the feeling as though I'm warping through space. I'm coming to the ice planet." The ice planet, where I buried my body in. "Sheena, I have a horrible feeling that if I die, I'll be trapped for eternity in that ice planet. I'm almost certain of it. The older I get, the more times I experience the astral projection. Like feeling..." said Newton with fear. Newton then told Sheena that the reason why he